Today, I'm going to tell you about how I got a golden name and this epic skin for free in Stumble Guys. I participated in the Global Stumble Guys Discord server's crown tournament and scored 2,814 crowns in 2 weeks, which got me a number 14 finish and qualified me for the golden name and inverted James skin. I'm going to share my advice for you if you want to farm crowns quickly yourself, and you can come back to this video when the next crown tour begins so that perhaps next time you can get a golden name on your account and you can get the skin. Without further ado, let's get started. The easiest way to farm a lot of crowns quickly is to play a lot of event matches. I strongly advise against going into regular lobbies to farm crowns because maps are randomized and it always gives you 3 rounds compared to events, which often give you fewer rounds, less players to deal with, and more consistent map selections. When choosing events, you want to choose events that have fewer rounds and easier maps that you can work with. For this video, I will split events into 3 categories: good events, okay events, and bad events. For our first example, Spaceship Stumble is a good event to farm crowns. There's only 1 round, and it's an elimination map, so the bots die pretty quickly in here. If you can win this game consistently, you can get several crowns in a few minutes because you don't have to wait across loading screens or for the bots to finish the map before moving on to the next round. Pretty much anything with 1 round is good for crown farming, especially if it's a map you're good at playing, because the loading screens will add up so much in the long run that it will make it much harder to score many crowns with little time. Another great example is this Deep Sea event, which has 2 maps, one of which is Bucket Mayhem, where if you get lucky, the entire room can get infected in less than a minute, and you can score a free crown that way. So that means you have a 50% chance of getting a crown in 1 minute, and a 50% chance of getting a slower, but still winnable elimination map. Of course, sometimes you'll have a real player that's so good they don't let you get your crown. But if you change your game server to somewhere where there's not a lot of people playing, then you're more likely to get a room full of bots instead of real players, and bot lobbies, it's easier to farm crowns. Before I go forward, you do want to make sure you look carefully at the bar over here, because sometimes events might not give you crowns at all. Also, ranked mode and custom games do not give you crowns, so if you want to increase your crown score quickly during the next tournament, do not spend too much time playing in those matches. Anyways, an okay event to farm would be this Factory Fiasco event. Even though abilities are on, and it's an elimination map so you can kill everyone quickly, it also means you can get killed quickly and lose all your progress on scoring a crown. This event also has 3 rounds, which is something that should be avoided when it comes to getting crowns in the quickest manner. If you're good at this map and killing others with ease, it can be okay, but the loading screens are something that cannot be made up. By the time all 3 of these loading screens finish, you likely could have won a crown from a 1-round event. Now, this event is a bad example for an event to farm crowns. Even though it only has 2 rounds, the first one is a race map, which means unless you finish in the last qualifying spot, you have to wait for the rest of the players to finish the map before you can go to the next round. And this can take so long that you end up losing loads of time that could have been spent farming crowns. The loading screens, combined with the waiting on the race maps, are serious drawbacks and can slow you down a lot if you're trying to go for a lot of crowns quickly. Regarding team maps, sometimes you can get lucky and your team will do all the work for you so you don't have to do anything to win, but other times they can die quickly or play poorly, which can waste you time. If you're interested in getting crowns quickly but don't feel like actually playing and want something that doesn't require a lot of input to win, then these team maps can be a good way to farm crowns, assuming you get lucky with your teammates. However, for faster and more consistent wins, you should probably pick up the controller and play the game, like how your teammates would prefer. Now, some of you guys might still have the tournaments, and while that's a good way to farm gems as well as crowns, you want to be careful because they're almost always 3 rounds, meaning you have to deal with more loading screens that can't be made up. Also, you're pretty much required to watch the XP animation before you can continue every time, so that adds up more time that could be made up playing event matches instead of tournaments. Therefore, if you want to farm crowns by yourself and in the quickest manner, event matches are clearly the way to go. As for getting the gold name in the crown tournament, the top 20 will earn it, and the number 20 player had a score of 2,712 last season. So if we do the math, crown tours take 2 weeks, and that's an average of 194 crowns per day. Though, if you find a super good event in the lineup while trying to farm crowns, my best advice is to get started early. Do not wait to farm. The events reset at 6 o'clock Eastern, along with the game shop. So if you see a good event at the reset and see that it farms crowns, don't wait. Strike while the iron's hot. What happened last season was there was an event that was 1v1 punch only, and when you won, it actually gave you a crown. When I started farming crowns, I played the hell out of that event and got 1,000 crowns within 2 days because I was able to beat my opponent with ease almost every time. The reason I say it's important to go early is because sometimes Scopely can be cruel and take away the ability to earn crowns from certain events while they're still going. So what you want to do is take advantage of as many of these opportunities as possible to get a massive lead on others. On the last day, when I was grinding even more matches to secure my spot in the top 20, I was playing the Deep Sea event because I knew that if I got Bucket Mayhem and hopped on this coral reef, I could win the game 90% of the time because the zombies would often prioritize other players instead of me. Thanks to this killer strategy, I was able to get about 5 crowns in 10 minutes, or about 30 crowns an hour. I played roughly 6 to 8 hours and bumped my score just enough to get the golden name, which is why I strongly encourage you to start farming as early as possible. I did lose a couple of times, but the times where I was able to win a game in less than a minute due to the lobby being filled with almost entirely bots helped to bounce the issue back in the other direction. I did also ruin my sleep schedule just so I could play the event with lower ping and lower players, but because I won the golden name and inverted James skin, it was totally worth it. So to recap everything I've told you guys, you want to play event matches to farm crowns, not regular games. You want to prioritize the events with fewer rounds and shorter maps in order to not lose time on loading screens. Try to avoid events that have race maps unless they're one round or can be completed quickly. If you want a sedentary experience farming crowns, play team maps that can yield crowns without you doing much work. And remember not to waste too much time and farm as much as you can if you find a good event, and keep at it so that when the event is over, you'll have less work to do in the end. Don't forget to also take breaks, and remember not to sacrifice your well-being for a name that goes away after a month. If you can remember all of this, you should be able to get a good score on the next crown tour, and for those players that are going to be dedicated next time, I hope to see your name in the top 20. I'll be rooting for you. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you have other pieces of advice that I might have missed, or if you still have questions about farming crowns, feel free to comment on this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, join my Discord server if you want to chat with me directly, and I'll see you all in the next one.